6 up-and-coming claims managers. 6 ambitious candidates. All with one aim: to be crowned Claims Apprentice 2023. Previously on Claims Apprentice.
The task is to prepare a podcast in relation to claims inflation.
How has the cost of living crisis affected you?
What are your thoughts on the cost of living crisis?
Oh, I've seen that a lot.
Fuel's got up, so obviously it's impacting everybody's pocket.
I've been through the war, the Second World War. Wow, okay. So, you know, we've all have to struggle and you all have to pull together.
I think people are very busy and they didn't really want to talk to us.
Within Team Connect, I would say that Rebecca has probably taken more of a lead role.
It's a new day at the Claims Apprentice, and the teams head straight to the recording studio to capture their podcasts. Team Connect is up first.
We've done quite a lot of research, we've got a great guest speaker. I think we're going to really do well in this challenge.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think we've got ourselves well prepared, we've done some good research, and I would agree as well, we have a great guest speaker on board.
I think that we've got sort of bullet points and we're just going to do like a conversation with each other, which I think is going to be good because it means we're just going to get like a more natural flow rather than sort of sentences pre-planned already. So I think it will be good.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Thank you so much for tuning in. You're here with Team Connect. Today we're going to be talking about how inflation has impacted motor claims, and we will also be later joined by our guest speaker, SANDIP. We were going around London asking the impact that the cost of living has on drivers. The most common answer was fuel costs.
Well, the increased price of fuel.
It has a big impact because if petrol's gone up.
And back in with 3, 2, 1. Yeah, and I guess that makes so much sense because the ABI have found that the average motor premiums have increased by 8%.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons for this is, of course, what's been happening with things like Brexit.
Sorry, we need to stop. I didn't ask the question of like why it's impacted. Right, we're going to cut this bit. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, and I guess this kind of goes into what the ABI have found, that average premiums have increased by 8%.
Rebecca is comfortable in front of the microphone and has taken on the lead role of the host, while the others get to interject with their own comments.
Even though this problem is really bad, I think there are certain things that commercial companies can actually do to bring down the to increase road safety and decrease their insurance premiums. I think the one thing that we looked into was that driver training is a really good thing. This is just for managers to train their sort of drivers on road safety and things that they can do.
I guess this is a really great time now to kind of introduce our guest speaker. I will let her do her own introduction, but yeah, please welcome to the studio SANDIP.
Hi, thank you for inviting me to the studio today. I'm SANDIP. I'm a legal director at Kennedy's.
So thank you so much for our guest speaker. Thank you so much for listening. Please share with all your colleagues across your platforms. And yeah, this is us signing out. Team Connect.
Yeah, thank you very much.
3, 2, 1.
Team Connect has finished their recording in record time. How did they think it went?
One take. What else can we want? We did really well. I think the conversation just flowed and I'm really happy with how we did it.
I think it went a lot better than I thought it was going to go. But yeah, I think it was really good.
I think we got all the points across, covered off everything we wanted to cover off, and I thought our guest speaker was great as well.
It's Team Aspire's turn to record their podcast.
It's
Yeah, daunting. I'm not going to lie. I've never really been a big fan of podcasts, so this was the one challenge I was hoping wasn't going to return this year, but has. And actually, I'm really glad it has, because it's going to really push me out my comfort zone to learn something new and hopefully maybe twist my arm and make me like podcasts going forward.
Considering the fact that we haven't actually dealt with like personal injury claims, or like this is something new to us, I think we worked really well as a team, and we've come together and we've received a lot of help from our mentor as well, who's been really great.
Thanks, Mark. And Ben, we call you later. Just what order are we going to do this in? We should just talk about that first.
Just to double check, are we going to do the expert first?
We can do the expert first.
Well, we got 10 minutes, so okay. Yeah, we can do...
Hello, and welcome to our podcast. Today we're going to be talking about claims inflation, specifically relating to personal injury. My name is Basil Boyce, and I'm here with my teammates.
My name is Safa.
And I'm Alan.
Great. We're going to talk about a few topics, and then we have a great guest interview. Then we'll have a great guest expert coming in to talk about personal injury and claims inflation later on in the podcast.
After Basil's introduction to the topic, it's Safa's turn to introduce the Vox Pops.
As part of our research, we, myself and my team, also went out to the public and asked them a few questions on the cost of living crisis, and we managed to get other individuals' opinions on this matter. I can't do it.
As part of our research into this, we went out to the British public and we talked to them to gauge their opinion on NHS and privatisation.
No, not privatisation.
Private healthcare. Sorry. I can't say that. No. As part of this podcast, we went out to the public and asked them their opinion about private healthcare and the NHS.
Would you ever contemplate looking at private healthcare over NHS as well,
definitely.
Or would you?
Yeah, I have private medical care.
Yeah. And is that because there's less delays involved? And
yes, definitely less delays, especially for my children, so if they're ever ill. Also probably better service, if I'm honest.
Yeah, so as Safa's already alluded to with living arrangements, and the care perspectives, from that perspective, COVID-19 has also had a severe impact on this. And
after Alan has done his bit, Safa is up again, this time introducing their guest speaker, Ben Appleton, a partner at Kennedy's who advises on motor, public liability, employers' liability claims and sports-related injury resulting in catastrophic and serious injury.
As well as speaking to the British public, we were also fortunate enough to manage to speak to Ben Appleton, who's a legal director at Kennedy's. Is that fine? Okay. Give me a second.
Sorry.
As well as speaking to the British public, we were also fortunate enough to get Ben Appleton, who is a legal director at Kennedy's, to have an expert join us on this topic. Does someone else want to do this? Because I can't do it. Okay, I'll do it. So, as well as speaking to the British public, we were also fortunate enough to speak to Ben Appleton, who is a legal director over at Kennedy's.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, there we go.
Ben, what has been the greatest rise in expenses you have seen in the last 5 years?
Well, first of all, thanks for inviting me today. So, in terms of personal injury, what greatest expense was a lot of discussion at the moment about sort of claims inflation generally.
After Team Aspire's guest speaker is done, it's time to wrap up.
Thank you everyone to listening to our podcast today. We hope you've enjoyed it. I think some 3 key takeaways from our discussion today is rehabilitation, care costs and living arrangements are all a huge factor into claims inflation and personal injury. However, you as the listener, what do you think of the rise of claims inflation for personal injury? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Sure? Yeah.
You did really well. Yeah.
No, it wasn't torture in the end. It was a bit overwhelming to start with all the microphones quite close to your face, and having one person speaking to you in one ear and hearing yourself in the other, but got used to it eventually, and yeah, once I get talking I can't stop it.
I think one thing that I've learned is to make a lot more elaborate notes and don't be intimidated by the camera or by the, sorry, not the camera, the speaking into the podcast thing, but yeah, I feel like I could have done a lot better, but I'm happy with the overall, like my team really helped, so we worked well.
I was a lot more nervous than I thought I'd be, but it's good to have done it now.
Both teams have done their podcast recordings and can head home to their normal day jobs for a short break. What do the mentors think of the team's efforts?
What I did notice with Team Connect was that Rebecca took lead very naturally, and perhaps the others didn't speak up as much as they could have done. However, by the time they had completed the podcasts and I went in and listened to the podcast, you could see that actually they'd all had a little bit of an input. I'd probably like to have seen Ellie speak a bit more because she made some very valid points which they could have elaborated on. But all in all, I think in the end they did well and they pulled it all together.
I think they did very well actually. None of them were or are injury practitioners, so it was completely new to them, but they got to grips with it very well, went out onto the street, asked some good questions of the public, got some good feedback, and then took Ben Appleton through some questions on the podcast and got a lot of useful information out of him, and I think they presented generally pretty well in the podcast. It was a good listen.
The podcasts are assembled by a technician and uploaded to the Insurance Post website. Over the following weeks, the teams must promote their podcasts in order to get as many listeners as possible. 3 weeks on, and the teams are back to find out which podcast has been the most popular. What did the teams think about the finished episodes, and what have they been doing to get the most amount of listeners?
Just sharing on social media, lots of reposts, commenting on each other's posts as well to hopefully drive in more people looking to our social media posts.
I thought it came out better than I expected. I remember coming out of that room and we were all breaking it a little bit, which just kind of happens. But no, I mean, all the feedback I've got on it has been really great, and hopefully, you know, we got more clicks than the other team.
After we made our little minor edits, I think it flowed really well, and I think we actually did really well as a team, and hopefully did enough to actually win the podcast challenge.
I think that we all posted it on LinkedIn, posted it around internally, and I took it to a few garages near me, like just sort of office garages, and said look, do you want to post this out to people? So yeah, I'm quite interested to see how many views that we got.
I thought it was good. I thought we got our points across well, and I thought our conversation and things flowed nicely throughout the podcast.
I think we all smashed it, so I think it was good to listen to be like, oh yeah, we did that, we created something really good. I'm excited to see how we've done as a team.
It's time to reveal the winner of the podcast challenge.
Well, hello teams, we meet again. First things first, congratulations on your podcast. I think both teams did an excellent job, given the fact you had quite a short time to do them and turn them around, and the fact you hadn't had the experience in podcasting before. But anyway, we have crunched the numbers now. These podcasts went live last Tuesday, and they've had 9 days now. So we've got the analytics, and I can reveal both podcasts made the top 10 best read items on the Insurance Post website for that period. One podcast did so well, it actually was the second most popular piece of content on the Insurance Post website. And I can now reveal for that podcast, and the winner of the challenge is Team Aspire.
It's congratulations to Team Aspire, who have won 2 challenges out of 3.
I tried to be cool and collected, and then they announced the winner, and SAFA was like, why is your hand so wet? I was so nervous, honestly.
I feel like our competitive sides really came out. I don't know about you guys, but I'm very competitive, so I was yes, we won. So
I think, yeah, we're really competitive, but actually it shows we worked really well as a team.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, we never knew each other until our first challenge and this experience, so it's Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, we've done really well.
Yeah, very proud of us.
After the winner is revealed, the mentors give feedback to Claire Mulligan on the team's progress.
You know, I think Team Connect were probably disappointed, you could see. Team Aspire did extremely well, and I think the numbers spoke for themselves. So, yes, I guess the right team did win, if you're looking at the number of times the podcast was listened to.
Oh, I'm really chuffed for Team Aspire. I think they worked really well together actually as a team on this one, and the podcast was all the better for it. I think they did well out on the streets with the talking to the members of the public, and then they listened and took everything on board, and the question and answer session with Ben was excellent as well. So I'm really chuffed for them, really pleased. Yeah.
With the final team task behind them, it's time for the apprentices to leave their teams and fly solo for their final task. They will face Claire Mulligan, who will grill them about the team tasks and decide who should be crowned Claims Apprentice 2023. Next time on Claims Apprentice.
I'm going to grill each of you.
I want Claire to be able to see like I'm very driven.
Talk about Team Aspire. Ellie's a bright spark who, if she just grows in confidence, will become like a shining star in the industry. Do you think you've learned anything in particular?
I'll be coming back for a claim.
The winner of Claims Apprentice 2023 is